57 minutes past the hour of 6. This is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Will it be sunny spells or will it be dark clouds? Very shortly we will connect with Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, chief forecaster with the Ghana Met. She'll let us know what Mother Nature has in store for you and I this morning. And we have Felicity Appiah-Ampofo on the line. Felicity, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am much better today than yesterday.
Do tell us, what does the weather have in store for us?
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. So today, we are expecting some weak to moderate rainstorm from Nigeria to engulf the eastern flank of the country by midday into the afternoon hours. So we expect it to be variably cloudy across the 16 region with cases of rain and thunderstorms. For the Sixtus today, the state of the sea is expected to be rough. So they need to deal with caution, and we're expecting them also to have some cloudiness and possibly some few showers here and there. For the Volta Lake, this morning to mid-morning is pretty cool, but then from midday into the afternoon to the evening hours, that's when we are expecting this storm to enter the eastern flank, so they need to be on the lookout. However, I will be updating you with our afternoon and evening forecast, but if there may be, we will release in the morning.
Certainly. Felicity, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and do have a wonderful Thursday.
Thank you so much.
Again, that was Felicity Appiah-Ampofo, chief forecaster with the Ghana Met. Big promises they cannot fulfill. Does that sound familiar to you? If you've only just joined us, a very warm welcome once again. It's the best breakfast show in all of the land. This is where we bring you the pulse of the nation and conversations that matter. Today we're keeping the spotlight on one of the most critical issues of our time. It's the ongoing destruction caused by galamsey and the urgent need for collective action to hold our leaders accountable. We'll also dive into the demonstration that is already heating up this morning, with many Ghanaians set to hit the streets and march in solidarity against this galamsey menace. And Michael, listening to you this morning talk about seeing it in the flesh, I think it paints a picture. Because even for me, I'm yet to actually see these polluted rivers, in the flesh. And everybody who has seen it says you've got to go and see it for yourself. And that will really tell you how dire the situation is. What is the one emotion that was coursing through you when you saw it? Otumfo, for example, said he was embarrassed.
I was shocked. I was extremely disappointed, and I couldn't believe this was Ghana.
Shocked.
Extremely
extremely shocked. Extremely disappointed.
And in disbelief that this is our country. And what shocks me the most while thinking about all of this is the fact that protesters went to protest to register their displeasure over all of this, and they rather in jail. And yet the galamseyers that we are talking about right now are at post.
In fact, I'm sure galamseyers can post bail. Sixtus Ullo, good morning to you. How are we doing?
I'm okay.
This is okay, dear. It's serious.
I'm okay. But I am shocked. And what was the other word you used?
Disappointed.
And disappointed in Michael that he's shocked and disappointed.
No, he was at the scene of the crime, as it were. And like I said, I haven't been so close to the polluted waters. And I'm sure when I go, I'll be even more shocked, even more disappointed.
Sixtus, I was part of a team of journalists who went to visit mining companies in the region. And see, one of the disheartening things we found out is that the mainstream mining companies are compelled to treat their water before they release it into the ecosystem. Now, they spend so much money to purify their water that they've used.
I mean, the one they used in
their mining process. When they have excess of it, they release it into the atmosphere. But there are strict protocols. They even have to pay to release that water. Guess what? After incurring so much cost to purify their water, they have to dump it into galamsey-rated waters.
So really, Ajana one.
So imagine a confused state, totally. And you see, the point that shocks me the most, you see, you will go to the communities, you will see the dirty bikes.
The table is innocent.
Calm down. You will see the dirty bikes. You will see the dirty aboboyas. You will see young men waking up in the morning ready to go and do galamsey. So if you tell me that you can't solve this, you are a hypocrite. If you are in leadership, if you are a municipal chief executive, if you were a chief in your community and you play an ostrich in all of this, you are a big hypocrite because it is in our faces. You should go there.
You know why I'm surprised?
Talk to me.
That Michael is now getting angry.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Sixtus? We have always agreed.
Did you come across any of the major rivers that we keep talking about?
Sixtus,
You could just paint a picture. Maybe there are those who still don't believe.
See, to see a river body look like tea that doesn't have enough Milo. So
Michael, when you see the entire river has that color, it's not as though maybe
No.
The entire
see,
water
there is no
body.
hope of clarity in the water. No hope. Like it's all mud, dirty. Charlie people.
I saw one of these unverified videos. Unverified because I don't know the source. I wanted to use it here, but I haven't been able to confirm the source. So, but I saw that you see these ferries that transport vehicles and people across, in the other parts that they don't have the roads to jump from one town to the other. And when you look at it, you can just see from the video, from the bank, if you stand there and just look and cast your gaze across, like Michael said, I like the phrase he used, there's no hope of clarity. I mean, you can just see that it is all brown. And the brown is not even brown. No. It's this brown, no. It's a different shade of brown. And you can see that from this video. So it's not...
I was speaking with a group of experts who are able to purify water that is contaminated with, and I beg your pardon if you haven't yet had your breakfast, I apologize. You can lower the audio now for the next just 2 seconds. They purify water that is contaminated with fecal waste, and they've taken samples of some of our most turbid waters, and they say that no amount of expertise that they have, and they've been doing this for years, their systems cannot purify our water. They can purify fecal matter, some other things, but when it comes to our waters, they said there's no way they can purify this water. And for me, that was one of the things that really hit home. And they were quite shocked. This is an external company. They were quite shocked with what we are being told, especially that release from Ghana Water Company Limited. And I think that was one of the releases that really set things in motion. Ghana Water Company sounding the alarm that fellow Ghanaians, very shortly, our water supply is just going to be non-existent because we can no longer purify this water. And in fact, what does Ghana Water Company do? They're able to distill the water, but I'm not entirely sure they have the mechanism to remove mercury and cyanide from our waters.
No, even if they did, the real concern or the neglected concern would be the amount of chemical that they are now using to purify the water. So if they were using 1 gram, is that the right way to put it? If you are using 1 teaspoon, I mean, a more common way to picture it, if you're using 1 teaspoon of chemicals to purify the water. Now they're using 5 times that.
That's right.
And this is from their own data. So you can imagine what the so-called purified water, you can imagine what we are consuming.
Because those chemicals also can harm us, isn't it?
Yes,
the purification chemicals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's a minimum, or no, there's a maximum that it should not go beyond. So if you go beyond that with the chemical, it means that it becomes hazardous to your health, right? And then for those of us who think that because we buy bottled water, we are safe, I'm sorry. The bottled water, what did they get it to purify a bottle? In fact, there are some sachet water, when you take it, when you are drinking it, it tastes and smells funny.
Yes. That's right. Some of it also tastes like there's a lot of chemicals in it. A lot of chemicals.
Or if you like, put a bag of water, a sachet water on the floor over a number of days, and you pick that sachet and you try to drink it. There's this smell and taste that it comes with.
That's right.
So just imagine. So I think that some people think they are safe. Unfortunately, none is safe.
I'm hoping that very shortly the message will come through to all of us that even Ghanaians living abroad cannot claim to be safe, especially those that like the home delicacies. It's all coming from home soil.
Those who say, oh, my auntie is coming. Can you send this over?
The number of times I've taken wrapped momone and cohort and assorted cow leg and with me because one auntie had missed the delicacy so much. You have no idea. Now, also, Sixtus, added to that is the cost. Because, of course, if at one time you were using 1 teaspoon has 1 teaspoon cost. 5 teaspoons have 5 teaspoon cost. And for a country that is reeling under so much debt and economic pressure, I mean, can you even afford to be buying extra chemicals? Sometimes we behave as if we're a country that has access to, to take care of its citizens. So that if we all are suffering with kidney ailments, that we even have the infrastructure, we even have the hospitals to even take care of the citizens. So at every front, we're confronted with just poor decision making.
Let me just take you back on the food issue. You know, when we were returning, it was a bus full of journalists. We passed by the market. On our way, we saw the market. There were foodstuffs on display. Nobody had the nerve to get down and buy it.
Really?
Would you take that risk? After seeing the kind of water in the community and what their water bodies look, would you take that risk?
But Michael, I'm not being funny. I would have gone ahead to purchase because me that I'm in Accra, where does the food come from? Michael, at this point, we are eating it, we are drinking it. Where do we go from there?
Yebu baby say near who anything. But to know that this one
straight from source,
straight from Galamsey pits. And Galamsey water.
What were the fruits and veg on offer?
I saw cabbage. I looked at the cabbage. I said, my goodness.
And me, cabbage is one of my favorites.
I looked at it. So in my mind, I'm calculating how much of cyanide or mercury may be in this
thing.
I won't risk it. And you see, we are even saying, okay, we are not going to risk it. What is the impact of this on the lives of people who live there, who don't have an option?
Don't have a choice.
And you see, these are uncontrolled amounts of cyanide, of mercury, of poisonous substances that have been released into the atmosphere. So should we be shocked if we soon start spending money on kidney-related issues within the next couple of years? You see, even currently, we can't handle the pressure of what is coming, Then imagine the impact this will have in the short to medium term. You see, we should wake up and stop sleeping, because the thing is more serious than we are seeing it. And the impact, no matter what, is going to be grievous on every sector, from the health sector to the finances of the economy, to our livelihood. Charlie, we can't afford to be playing with this. It's serious. It's serious. And I go back to the community leaders. Shame on you on letting down your people down. And if you're in a Galamsey area and you are also smiling because you are getting 1,000 cedis and the likes, you are getting money from Galamsey site, and you watch the future of your own self and your children go waste because of your greed. Shame on you. Oh, sorry, I can't say that.
Michael, take a breather for me.
I want to say
we'll get Michael some chilled water. Now, Michael, another leg of this conversation, and this is one that myself, yourself, and Sixtus have discussed. This was sometime last week. That people have been interchanging Galamsey with small-scale mining.
True.
Yesterday, Sixtus, please help me. We spoke with the National Small-Scale
Miners Association,
the General Secretary. Godwin
Yes.
Amma. So I put some of these questions to him, and for me, what stuck with me was I asked him about the reputation. I said, what are the challenges that small-scale miners are now facing because of that Galamsey reputation? And he says that for those who hear that you are into small-scale mining, immediately they assume that you are doing Galamsey. For example, he says even getting loan facilities. If you say you're doing small-scale mining, he says that there's that perception that actually you are harming the environment. I also asked that, can he, confidently say that none of his members are involved in Galamsey? He says, well, with any association, there will be deviance. But as far as he is concerned, or as far as the association is concerned, they are cracking the whip continuously. But you see how the inactions of a government can throw your profession into jeopardy. Now we're looking at mining as a whole, and whether or not as a country it is bringing us more harm or more good. And so I'm hoping that moving forward, we also hear from legitimate legal miners who should be up in arms and actually quite angry with government that, this is my chosen profession, I'm doing the right thing. Because of your inability to crack the whip on those doing the opposite, my reputation, my livelihood is now at stake. That is something that also needs to happen, so that government knows that on all fronts, those that are doing it legally now are also under threat. Now imagine you're a small-scale miner and the people in the community now think you are a Galamsey because we are interchanging it. It's a whole different dynamic. Gentlemen, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the dailies. We'll take a look at the front page. I see a smiling Godfred Yeboah Dame, AG, on the front page, and I have some interesting thoughts on the duplicitous role of an AG. Also, Minister of Justice, he's asking that the now remanded protesters be given bail. Then I went back and I looked at the statements of the police. Number 4, this case is being tried by the Office of the Attorney General. We'll be right back. Don't go too far. In fact, don't move an inch. We'll be right back.
One mommy, I zoom into Helen's face. Let them see the seriousness.
Be a good idea to run a full-time business.
Sure. In this economy with so many taxes, do you think this insensitive MPP government cares about your businesses? I better go. I don't want to be killed by taxes before my time. Why?
You see the thing where I'm at the talk. Charlie, small bets we are chop. Like if you see the tax where government take put for the money top.
Kwame is right. I can't even send my mother money for her medical bills now. Because look, the e-levy alone no be easy.
Oh boy, buy some ride, make her take do Uber. Go see the tax we day for the pots there. It dey cost past the ride safe. COVID levy all day inside.
Me, I'm not surprised that the liar who promised to move the nation from taxation to production has come due. Elections have consequences, so as for me, I've made up my mind to vote for GM and the NDC because I trust them to keep their promise to exempt small and micro businesses from VAT, grant 2-year tax holidays for new businesses like mine, scrap e-levy, COVID levy, betting levy, and emissions levy to ease hardship. In fact, I can go to the bank with JM's word because he is trustworthy.
Charlie Kojo, your mind for deal. It is time for change.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
The luckiest.
Star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed *712# and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Dial *712#. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial *712#. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win the Sika Kessie. Prizes are Kessie in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with *712#. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest *712#.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
3FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within.
*7 a.m. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Apologies, there is no Johnny's Bite this morning. I see a number of you asking on the socials. No Johnny's Bite this morning. Johnny's still under the weather. We're wishing him speedy recovery. And I'm sure he'll be back with us shortly in biting spirit. But myself, Sixtus and Michael, we're about to get into the news review. We'll run through the headlines and get into the meat of the matter. I'll start us off now with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The front page has this to say: tertiary programs at unaccredited centers to be revoked. That's coming from GTEC. Measles, rubella vaccination underway. Targets 5 million under 5-year-olds. Expedites hearing on Galamsey cases. Attorney General to judges. And you've got a picture of Godfred Yeboadame, Minister of Justice and Attorney General, speaking at the AMJG annual conference in Accra. I also heard him during his speech at the conference, urging that the judges consider bail for these arrested protesters. Student Loan Trust Fund pays some 25 million Ghana cedis teacher trainee allowance. CDS calls for more collaboration amongst security services. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Minister satisfied with Ghana Landscape Restoration Project. Interesting one there. Revamp a Bosso glass factory to develop renewable energy equipment. CSOs charge political parties on the front page of the Anchor newspaper this morning. Tanzania emulates Baumia's domestic gold buying policy as minister engages delegation. Also, James Gunu wraps up retail campaign at Akachi North. YEA Zoom Lion lock horns over juicy contract. Management runs to board and finance ministry for intervention. AG wants Galamsey cases concluded within 1 month. The Daybreak newspaper, Freedom and Truth, that's their tagline. They say GRNMA backs Kolebu CEO. I will protect assets of the judiciary, Chief Justice assures judges. Probe Obo over some 41 million Ghana city Otumfo stamp. Angry Ghana Post staff demand. Gentlemen, what do we have?
Political Digest. It's possible to read authentic news. Front page. Check if your allegations have been addressed. NPP scribe to NDC. Indicators point at NPP victory, says Nana B. Greatness can come with mindset of possibilities. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, NPP presidential candidate. Galamsey fight call to action. Napo Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe, vice presidential candidate NPP, is speaking. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, Ghana's most authoritative newspaper, efforts to prevent electoral violence, 36 hot spots identified nationwide. National Peace Council intensifies public awareness campaign in affected areas. Vote for my advice to continue my transformational agenda, President tells voters in Upper East. And NDC advocates stakeholder examination of EC-IT system, aftermath of IPAC meeting. Expedite investigations into 54 Democracy Hub protesters. AG is advocating. On the back page, Ghana risk losing EU timber market. Forest Watch speed up works on inner city roads. Minister charges contractors. And back to this, I thought there were 40-something. The Democracy Hub guys who...
I've seen so many different numbers being bandied about. At the last count, I saw the protesters, the lawyers, they call them lawyers for something demonstration freedom. They put the number at 53. I've seen so many different numbers. In fact, even with
this is coming from the AG, so I'll take that.
Okay, yeah.
It's coming from the AG, so I'll go with that.
All right. On the Daily Guide newspaper, MOH refers Ojobi old woman's case to CID. Finished Galamsey case in 1 month, that's according to the Attorney General. NDC abandons forensic audit call. Voters register, 2024 voters register, and judges call for improved security. Bedie too responding to treatment. So that's following news of his ill health.
That's right. All right, so gentlemen, can we start off with the daily graphic? And I want to take us on just a very small journey. I'm going off the front page just a little bit because I saw on Twitter recently, as these demonstrators have been locked up, and the role of the AG and so on and so forth, the role of the state, the police and all of that. And that conversation about the duplicitous role of the AG is one that often is... some people say should be separated, and I don't know what you gentlemen think about that, whether or not this duplicitous role should be separated. I'm talking about the role of Attorney General and being Minister for Justice, because there are ways in which those two roles sometimes appear to conflict. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Well, this is a long-standing conversation, actually. We've had this debate over and over and over and over. I think it was Pakwesi Indum, then presidential candidate, I think for the CPP also. I may be wrong, but I think he was one of the people who mainstreamed that conversation, and it's still, well, it comes and goes. Anytime we run into a hitch, then we we revisit the conversation, but we really don't see ourselves getting the vim to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the Constitution Review Commission report, the one that Professor Atuguba was executive secretary to. I think that's the Professor Fiajo Commission report. I think they made that recommendation
that
to
will be decoupled.
The AG from the Ministry of Justice. So it's a conversation that we have always had, and I'm very sure that even the NPP has been part of that conversation when they were in opposition. Are you surprised
that in recent times it is rearing its head again, especially this year? More and more this conversation is cropping up, and just for the uninitiated. So, as Minister for Justice and as AG, so Godfred Yeboah-Dame is obligated to act in the interest of all people of Ghana.
Yes.
So despite being a member of cabinet and a part of government, his role involves ensuring that the justice system serves the public fairly and impartially, promoting the rule of law and safeguarding the legal rights of all citizens. Check this out. While he's part of the government and must support its policies, as Minister for Justice, he has an ethical and constitutional duty to ensure justice and equity for all Ghanaians, regardless of political affiliations. This means that his responsibilities are not limited to advancing government interests, but also ensuring that the legal system operates fairly, upholding the law in a way that benefits the entire population.
So that's right, Helen. And by the architecture of our AG, the Attorney General's Department and Ministry of Justice, that's even a mouthful. Hey. Attorney General's Department and Ministry of Justice. You need to eat some kinky. But by the design of the office alone, even if you put the most willing person, passionate person,
so you're passionate about justice, for example,
it will be hard for you to operate. Because look, you have a prime duty to advise government, to ensure that the government does not run into trouble. So
That's right.
You are the principal legal advisor to the government. So it means that all the contracts, whether it's at the MMDCE level, DAs.
Okay.
MMDAs level, at the MDAs level, at the other agencies levels. You are obliged to ensure that any deal that the government of the day enters into doesn't go south on the government, and that also the republic doesn't suffer. And it also becomes technical because you when you look at the government as NPP, then it becomes a problem. The truth is that if the Attorney General is to ensure that there is no judgment debt resulting from contracts, then the Attorney General is saving the republic.
Indeed.
Not the government of the day. And please don't come for me. I'm trying to be as intellectual as possible so that we understand and be able to separate the issues.
Absolutely.
So Godfred Dame as AG is not serving Nana Akufo-Addo as president and the NPP administration. He's supposed to be serving the Republic of Ghana. The state.
So, rightly as Sixtus has said, to summarize, he's the chief legal advisor to the government of Ghana. His duties include representing the state in legal matters, prosecuting criminal cases, and providing legal counsel to government ministries, departments, as you rightly said, and agencies. He also has the power to initiate, take over, or discontinue prosecutions on behalf of the state.
And that's a constitutional power. That is when you hear that the Attorney General has
issued a nolli
prosequi on a
that's
particular
the
matter.
Entered, I put it to you. Has entered a nolli prosequi.
The Attorney General has decided to discontinue a particular case. And the Attorney General, in exercising that power, is not obliged to explain itself to anybody.
Yes.
You get it? And there are lots of reasons that could make the office do that. And that is not, he's not obliged to explain to anybody what the reason may be. It could be in the interest of the state. It could be partisan, political. It could be, yes, as I said, in the interest of the state, to save the state some further embarrassment. Or it could simply be that particular case is not winnable in court.
Like when they decided not to prosecute Aisha one earlier.
I mean, at that time, I think AG then was I think he was deputy at that time.
Yes, he was deputy
at that time. He was deputy.
So that decision was a decision that the office was not obliged to explain to anybody. And we have gone over that decision over and over countless times, trying to understand why the office could have done that.
Well, the non-prosecutor. People are asking that happened in today's issue.
So that is a decision that rests with the Attorney General. And mind you, the Attorney General, he's been quoted, and I have a copy of that statement, that address that he presented to the judges and magistrates at the conference. And he categorically encourages, whichever word you choose to use there, encourages the court, so that's the judiciary, encourages the court to expedite action on cases that are already before the courts.
This is Galamsey cases.
People who have been arrested and are still pending trial, because we have heard also from the office that a number of cases are before, and the spokesperson said this on key points on Saturday.
Yes.
That there are a number of cases that are before the courts but have not been prosecuted because there are some delays in the system. So you can situate that call by the Attorney General within that context. Again, the call has also been made that rather than, encouraging the courts, why not just enter nolle prosequi? And I think we find the response to that in the same address that he presented. In that address, he makes the point that it doesn't matter the cause for which you demonstrate. That demonstration must be within the limits of the law.
Right.
The fact that you are demonstrating for a just cause does not mean that you should go I wanted to use some word that we use in...
You can't go on a rampage because you are...
Rampage is a decent word, but I'll go with that.
Okay, you can't go on a rampage because you are disgruntled and you want to make your voice heard on a particular cause.
Yes.
That
so
you think
may
something is illegal doesn't mean that you too must maybe indulge in illegality to make that point.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you may have a cause, but your cause to achieving your cause must be within the remits of the law.
What about those that say that protests are not, that we have got this idea of protest wrong? And don't get me wrong, I'm not here to rile up or stir up any kind of emotion in anybody. But those who say that protests are a way of getting attention, and that if you merely walk from point A to B, yes, you've made your voice heard, you've captured it, maybe you have some pictures, but what kind of pressure have you really inflicted on the duty bearers? Because protests, some have argued, are supposed to be uncomfortable. They are supposed to be as uncomfortable as the position that the persons who are protesting find themselves in. What do you make of that?
If you are a student of political science or even of society, you would come to understand that society has always used protest to build society. The civil rights movements resorted to protests.
That's right.
Our own independence story is replete with series of protests. So protests, demonstrations, all those things, actions, whether sit down or strike or whatever you describe it, all those actions are a part of our political movement and struggle. So it is not today. It didn't start today. It will not end today. It will forever be a part of us. I mean, in 2017, when we started all the campaign against Galamsey, you didn't find people on the streets marching, but you found people, the media, embarking on other forms of campaigns that eventually saw government action or saw stakeholder action in the fight against Galamsey then. Now, the reason we are seeing the protest today is because people are beginning to feel that they are not getting the action that is required from the executive of the day. I mean, if everybody is talking about Galamsey and everybody is asking, Mr. President, what is your response to this particular menace? Everybody, every state, single institution is complaining about Galamsey independent bodies are complaining about Galamsey. Civil society is complaining about it.
That's right.
Media is complaining about it. Labor is complaining about it. Students, well, they are not complaining. I'm still angry with the student front because they are.
But at least we've heard.
Which of them?
Oh, okay. At least we heard Conti. We heard about the vandals and the likes.
In fact, to be fair, they are part of today's demonstration.
They are actually the ones at the forefront of it. Yeah.
To be fair.
Some
yesterday
have pulled out.
True.
True. Yes. So Sixtus, as you were saying, and I think can we mention these groupings as?
They issued statements.
Yes,
so we
they
can
did. So
mention
Fanta, for example, has pulled out.
No, but if you look at
they said they've had a lot of pressure, and they've been talking about pressure from the alum. In fact, the alumni and the student groupings had a public fallout online. They were on a spaces and they had that fallout online publicly for us to see that yes indeed. And we saw it play out, the pressure, and they came and issued a statement saying that they would have loved to, but the pressure is too much.
I think the statement stated that that the Otumfo had spoken to them and told them not. I don't know if
there was
that statement, but then in it also you see a caveat there. They are saying that they will be part of the protest,
so as a group,
but not as a group. As Katanga.
They won't be there as a JCR of the university, but they'll be there as citizens.
Individuals.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So,
but for me, that changes the flavor of the mobilization.
That does. And that was the basis of my rant yesterday.
That's right.
That students have such a powerful voice.
True.
And again, if you go back to our independence struggle, up until the point that we started talking about even union government and all those demonstrations, if you know the history, you know. Students were at the forefront of all these conversations, all these actions. And today, you have a bunch of students, and I add myself to that because I'm still a student. You have students who are only interested...
or a baby boy?
I'm a student. Am I not, Helen?
Sure, please carry on.
I'm a student. So if you want to pay my school fees or contribute to paying my school fees... You have students who are only interested in being called SRC president, JCR president, USAC president, NUCS president. That is all they are interested in.
What will it take to awaken?
And their other interest is in identifying
what
with
will it take to
NDC.
What will it take to awaken these students? What will it take to get them riled up, fired up, excited about national discourse?
The point is
Helen, let me answer that before you come in. Helen, if seeing Galamsey water is not enough to trigger anything in any so-called student leader, then the student front is dead.
Say that again.
If seeing Galamsey water is not enough to trigger anything, action, a consciousness in any student leader, then the student movement, the student front is dead. Simple.
You see, the point also is that we are missing the fact that the effort to disintegrate the student front by the political class has been very intentional.
Expand on that for us.
I think we are missing that.
It didn't start today.
We all know.
So you mean the political infiltration?
It's been intentional because you see, the student front is the most difficult front to deal with because workers may have an interest, which is quite maybe more targeted. But with the students, if they want a better economic situation where they will come and live in, how to pacify them in the interim is quite.
And you add that with youthful exuberance.
It takes a lot because
yesterday
you see,
I told you about a NUCS campaign that I was a part. Thank you, Palgrave, Dr. Palgrave. He was part of the campaign I was talking, Ekuba's campaign. He and I worked on that campaign. You get it? And at that time,
Palgrave was a young man. I'm putting two and two together. I'm making some calculations. Shout out to Doug.
Palgrave and I worked on that campaign for Ekuba to become a NUCS president. And she was, in fact, since after Ekuba, I don't think any lady has even contested again. I may be wrong with my facts, but she's about the only lady I know of who has attempted the NUCS presidency. And back then, this was 2009-ish, back then, student politics still had been infiltrated by national politics, by parties. So it's a mere
now it's not infiltration. Now, the political national offices determines who the candidate for the school should be. Did you get it?
I know about that.
So they determine it from the office. So how will that student have the interest of the student leader, of the student body at heart?
So there are already strings attached before you even start.
They are already politically exposed.
Got it.
So the political class has realized that by dividing the student front, we've already solved the problem halfway. And that is why we cannot get them to come together to come and make a national case, because already it is seen as an MPP NDC agenda in court.
You think Haruna Idrisu, when he was campaigning for Nooks, did not have the parties of the day pulling strings from behind? All of them have always had that. So it is one thing to say that the generation back then was able to deal with it and to handle it in a way that the student front was still as powerful enough to have a voice. And today's generation is not able to do that, which is actually the problem. So I don't think it's necessarily a question of MPP, NDC, CPP, PPP are pulling strings from behind. They have always pulled the strings.
It is beyond pulling strings, Sixtus. I have been to Nooks Congress, and I have seen candidates and delegates wait on the national office to supply them with vehicles and funding for the campaign.
So now it's merely an extension. So it's like a youth or student extension of the
basically
party.
That. So it's beyond what you are saying. So if you are, whoever is on the ballot is a representative of the party. It's not about student. I think they also.
In fact, they use the party colors.
The colors anyway. So it's beyond what you are saying.
I've noticed that. So
I'm just saying that the point
so
I'm
and so, and the
making.
colors are.
Yeah, you can tell.
So the point I'm making is that the guys of today and ladies of today, in a bid to become student leaders, already become more partisan than the party people themselves, because it's always been with us. It's always been a part of it, of the student politics, that you would have the national youth office of a political party sending money to a particular candidate,
deciding who the candidate should represent the party on the campus tickets.
Exactly.
It's always been like that. That's what you're saying.
It's always been
and
there.
The funding has always been like that.
It's always been there.
How far
that,
back do you trace this tradition to, Sixtus?
Well,
if you can guess or gauge.
I mean, to the Rollins era, the early 90s or mid 90s.
That has been the tradition.
It's always been there.
All right.
So it's just a certain will that we lack. And we will go on, asking for leadership role. Okay, well, also to be fair, the other side to it is that all of them want to show themselves approved to these political parties. So that
so it's a stepping stone.
Yes, so while still in school, if you are the SRC president, you wonder by the time you are done with your tenure, the party would have already given you some nice
strategic positioning.
Yeah, because
you
have shown potential.
But look, guys, if we think that we are really, the future is for us to handle, we should begin today by showing that leadership, by telling the today generation, the today political leadership that, look, you cannot scatter the country for us because you are passing, we are coming. Don't scatter it for us. Hold it together for us so that when we get there, we'll be able to have something.
You would think that we're not one people on one journey with one destiny. You would think, I mean, what happened to all of us having one agenda? Prosperity for all of us to thrive.
The ruling class have failed the masses so much so that there is no hope.
The masses have failed the masses.
There's a piece
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Gentlemen, we're going on a very quick...
Where do the rulers come from?
I don't agree.
We're going on a very quick break.
Please, I think we keep saying this thing as like we are cutting slack for those who are supposed to live up to their mandate.
You don't believe that this is a journey that has a holistic... or should take a holistic approach?
There's room for that. But the onus really lies on leadership.
I agree with Michael, because there are instances where decisive leadership is needed, and all of a sudden we're told that, it's for all of us. When it is convenient, I often hear officialdom rope us all in. But when the pegs it comes with the perks.
We don't
are
joke
not
together.
roped in. There's an interesting one here on page 9 of the daily graphic, and then we'll go for a break, and then we'll activate the phone lines, pass the microphone over to you. It's it's from the Africa Center for Democracy and Sustainable Development, a short one there on page 9. Ghana's December 2024 elections, upholding democracy and discarding fear. Now, as the December 2024 elections approach, Ghana is at a pivotal moment. This is not just a test of its democratic process, but an opportunity for Ghanaians to reaffirm their dedication to peace and national unity. Amid rising tensions and the threat of fear-mongering aimed at creating discord, the nation must choose the path of democratic principles over chaos. Liberal democracy is grounded in the principle of majority rule, balanced with protecting individual and minority rights. It goes on, and there are different paragraphs there. The danger of anarchy, why rejecting fear is crucial, moving forward with optimism. I think these are some exciting themes, and we should all be putting ourselves in that mood and in that spirit as we head towards the elections. We'll pause for a quick break. When we come back, we hand over the microphone to you. I know you are citizens and not spectators. Don't go too far. This is still 3 FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Yes, and her replica. Long time. How may I help you?
Auntie Ama,